What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the next video on learning Python object-oriented programming. My name is QDS Dan and you guys watching my channel Korayowood. Alright, so in the previous video we have discussed constructors and we have created here our objects. So objects are instances of the classes. The process of creating instance from the class is called instantiation. So now we have created objects. Our objects here can access all our methods through the dot operators. If you look in here, so we have here we have methods of send mail, receive mail, and post office clerk. So if you look in here, so if you observe here, all our objects here can access our methods with the dot operator. So if you look in here, we have only created one objects. Our objects is Korayo post. So how about if you go ahead and create multiple objects? To save the time, I have created a file here. It's called multiple objects, or you can call it multiple instances of the class, as objects are instances of the classes. So you can think of say for example, not just a post, you can think of class human, and the instance is going to be, our object is going to be male and female. Or you can think of class vehicle. You can think of a lot of objects, our instances from that class. It can be, for example, hatchback, our sedan, our wagon, our four-wheel drive, our racing car, our say for example truck, our demolition cars, or it can be any type of vehicle. It can be earth moving, it can be construction vehicles, it can be any sorts of vehicles. Or you can create, for example, think of even if you post, it can be just a local post or a parcel delivery, or it can be any type of post, not just a post, but it can be industrial post, or it can be shipping, it can be anything. Okay, so as we said, from every class you can create a lot of instance or a lot of objects in one class. Not just one, but we can create a lot of objects. Say for example, now we're going to come and we say for example class, our class going to be class animals. So if we put our constructor here, constructor is a special method in every class that you guys can initialize your objects, so you guys can create your instance. But even if you guys don't declare your constructor, the Python is going to create it for you behind the scenes. So we have a class animals, and you can think of say for example animal name, or for example we put an animal type. So now our constructor has a parameter, and this parameter is animal type. Okay, so if we put it here, self dot animal type, and we assign this animal type which we have in our constructor. So we said self animal type. You can put a type here as well, but type is going to be a lot of confusion later on. But when we specify here the naming convention, we say animal type, it means we're specifying. Now we know straight away that we mean but which animal type. So if I put a type, then you guys are going to be later on going to be confused what I mean by type. Is it programming type, or is it going to be house type? What sort of type? Is it going to be package type? But when I put an animal type, it means I'm specifying about my program, and my program is going to be the, say for example, class animals. So you can create a lot of methods here. Say for example, we can put a pet animals, or we can create wild animals, or we can create for example racing animals. So we can create a lot of animals. Say for example, if I put a pet, or you put animals, and keep in mind you can create this way, or you can create it this way, because here we are using the camel case, and here we are using with underscore here. It's up to you. So we put a print, and we say that the self dot animal type is for example pet animal, and same goes here. We copy paste, for example, a few times. We can create a few other methods, for example. So I'm gonna put a here, for example, I'm gonna put wild animals, and animal type is wild animal. and we can create it, for example, another one. We can create it as a racing. So I'm gonna put it together, and I'm copy this one. We can paste it here. So here is gonna be, for example, racing animal, and here is we're going to say another is a racing animal. Okay, so now we can create our main method, and we say main to instantiate our objects here, and we're going to put our special method. I don't need to explain this again. Alright, so now in our main we're going to create our objects, and as I said in the previous video, we're going to instantiate our objects. The first one is we're going to create for example, pet animal, and pet animal we can create for example, dog, and we put the name of our constructor here, and what we're going to put for this guy here, because we have a parameter, and for parameter we can put for example, Rexy dog, for example. So now we have created one instance of the class, and this is a we created object. On object is a dog. Now we can create another objects. For example, we can put a cat, and we can put animals, and we're going to create, we have a parameter animal type, and we say fluffy a cat, for example. Alright, so now we have a method here. We can access all our methods here with our two objects. So for example, now we can put a dog dot we can put a pet animal. So for example, we can put a pet animals, and same this guy here, these objects can access this method through the dot operator. So our cat, we put a dot, we put a pet animals, because cat and dogs are domesticated and they are pet animals. So now we have multiple objects of dog and cat, which both of them is going to access this method through the dot operator. So if we are going to go ahead, if we control S, and we go run, we go multiple objects, and you're going to see here that we're going to run multiple objects, and we're going to say the Rex dog is a pet animal, and fluffy cat is a pet animal. So here we have two objects now, and our two objects here, they are accessing this methods here. So how about if we put another two objects? So for example, lions and tigers, for example, we can do that. We're going to say lion, and we say animals, and we can say roaring lion, for example, roaring lion, and here we put a tiger, and we say animals, and we say powerful tiger, for example. And now this both our objects can access the wild animals. So the lion, we can put a lion dot, and we can put a wild animal, that's the method, and we put a tiger, and we put a wild animals. So how about the racing animals? Alright, so we can put a lot of racing animals, say for example horses, or we can put a greyhounds, we can put a dog, or we can put a different types of horsing animal. But the most popular ones around the world is horses. Say for example, Arabian horses, or different type which I'm not aware, and I don't have a very good knowledge of the horses. All I know that it's going to be like a lot of horses, and they're one of the top horses in the world that are involved in the racing animals. Say for example racing, and we can just put a horse, for example horse, we can, that's our object name, and we say animals, and we, so for example we can put a Victoria horse, and this Victoria horse is now racing animals. So now this objects of the horse, and we can say come here and it says horse, which is our objects, and can access the racing animal method. Okay, so here we have our objects. We have 5 objects, and our 5 objects are accessing all of 3 methods. Say for example, that's the first method, that's the second method, and that's the third method. Okay, so if we hit Control S and we're going to go ahead and run, we're going to see all 3 of our methods here. So the first one is Rex dog is a pet, Fluffy cat is a pet, and roaring lion is a wild animal, Powerful tiger is wild animals, and Victoria horse is a racing animals. So that's how we gonna create our multiple objects. You can create more than one objects in Python. Say just by pet animals, you can think of a lot of objects, not just one. We can think of puppies, you can think of kittens, piggies, whatever you can think of. You can think of here a lot of household, they have snakes, a lot of household they have spiders, or they have weird animals as their pets, or exotic animals they have as pets. You can put here. So just by one method here you can create, and you can think of a lot of objects here. Even if you think of wild animals, in a wild animals you can think of a lion, tiger, you can think of cheetah, whatever you guys think, you can put it here. So that's how we create a multiple or more than one objects in Python. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any question or comment, leave in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.
You